Well, we're back, baby. We did it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting me on like my other channels. Thank you so much for being there and like all that. Like, I know that like it's much bigger than just one platform, but I was really getting worried about things for a while. Thank you so much, Twitch, for giving me the opportunity to come back. And um, I know that these things happen. It still sucks, and I was angry. I do understand that there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it, and I'm not perfect. Okay, I do make mistakes, which is why the ban happened in the first place. But we moved past it. We dusted ourselves off. I continued to stream on all my other channels as I always do because I multi-stream. Because this is bigger than just me. It's bigger than just one platform. It's bigger than all the platforms. It's this me projecting my energy out into the universe and trying to make a difference in any way possible, even if it's just giving a smile to the world and letting people know that there's something out there besides pain and all that kind of stuff. But thank you, Twitch, so much, because even though like there's a lot of people on Twitch that I really cut off from, um, that really cut me off. The band like really cut me off from a lot of potential. Um, and of course, it's like I'm not really thinking about the exact moment. I was thinking long term. Like I really needed to have a place where that I've built this Twitch channel. This is where I started everything. So it's like building this Twitch channel. It's like losing it was devastating. And not only that, but all the people, um, like all the people that I would like suddenly just completely would never be able to, couldn't talk to, couldn't even talk to my favorite stream. I couldn't even talk to the communities and my favorite streamers, although Discord's a thing, but it's just not the same. Just being able to just type in chat in response to somebody, even though most of the time I kind of just watch. Most of the time I just pop in, see what's going on, if at all. I usually see people's stuff on LSF, or I watch on YouTube, and like I'll watch the full focused edited edited out segments of like what people talk about, like Hassan, talking about specific things. Usually I wait for those. But sometimes I really like to see what's on the cutting edge floor, and also being able to interact in real time, even though it's not always like, especially with bigger streamers, not always possible. But the fact that I couldn't go into other small streamers and talk to them, you know, like that fact. It wasn't I totally understand why things happened the way they did. We're not even going to talk about it anymore. But just to kind of put the final period on that chapter. Um, you know, it's just like, obviously, thank you so much, Space Ducks. I saw you in here. Thanks for being there. And uh, seeing how my viewers and my seeing my moderators show up, to my other channels. Yeah, thank you. Seeing my moderators show up to my other channels, it made me feel like really like it's much more than just me. It's so easy to. It's. I can't move. I can't move Chatterino. Just reopen it. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Space Ducks. I don't particularly really know what I'm doing right now. I do want to get the day started, and there's things I want to do today on stream because I haven't streamed for a few days. I was just playing video games, and that's no good. Well, it is good. I gotta take care of me, but I do have things planned for today. Let me just double check to see my calendar to see if I actually have a free day first. It's still early in the morning, okay? Yeah, I got some good sleep last night. So it's I also want to start. I mean, it's fine this way. Let me just check my calendar. Yeah, I got today and tomorrow completely. Oh no, I got. Yeah, I got that that appointment's canceled. Um, yeah, I just let me get the monitor. Good to be back. Good to be back. I just I mean, in a way, obviously, in a lot of ways, I never really left. But it's good to have my activity feedback. It's good to have my Chatterino back. Seeing it on my right side. I know it's like you talk about parasocial with other people. I get parasocial with my desktop setup. Okay, I get parasocial about my desktop setup. Like the fact that I didn't have Chatterino sitting there looking at me, the fact that I didn't have my activity feed sitting there looking at me, that was really devastating. Like missing those two windows, missing those two programs on my on my side monitor. Like not seeing Chatterino there. Chatterino 2.3.5. I missed that. So parasocial. So parasocial. It goes beyond people. It's like I'm parasocial for computer programs that are on my screen. Like not even like AI, like literally just a an app. Like parasocial about Chatterino being on my screen and activity feed being on my screen. I think it's healthy. All right, guys. So now we're having Aiden Ross coming in on our stream. Just kidding. We just got unbanned. No, I'm just kidding. Andrew Tate from prison. You know, the ends justify the means. You know, why drink water when you can drink Dr. Pepper? You know, I'm just a people observer. You know, maximizing the things I can control and minimizing the things that I can't. Yeah, there's been a lot going on in Twitch while I was gone. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should log out now, so I don't get unbanned again. So I don't get banned again. We can't have things happening when I'm gone. What do you mean everybody lives their lives while I'm away? How dare you suggest that I'm not center of the universe? It's good to be back. My Bugatti, my Bugatti is the color. It's just invisible. It's clear. And it's not even clear. It's see-through. It's completely see-through. Well, I mean, I guess that's clear. My Bugatti is completely invisible. You think that, you think that you could see it, but you can't. Oh God. No. Why does that song have to be playing right? Did somebody vote for that? Fuck. I'm starting to get some social media influence yet. I think I'm reading into it. Why did that specific song have to be playing? Jeez, my PTSD. No, I don't. Why did that song literally have to be playing on Rainwave? Like, I just wanted to listen to some music. I clicked start, and that song happened to be playing just now. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Like, what the actual fuck? Like, what are the fucking odds? Like, literally trying to listen to video game remixes, and that's what's playing? I thought we were never gonna mention it again. It's happened so. Obviously what is it? Confirmation bias. Obviously, the song exists, and it's a popular song. So if like you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, why this song?" It's like because that's the song that's playing. Like it's confirmation bias. Yeah, I'm really enjoying making my. So I've been. If anybody here watching the VOD, or here live, I know Space Ducks is here right now. Um, yeah, there's nobody here. Anybody watching the VOD? If you've been wondering, what I've been up to, if you don't follow me on my other social medias, like YouTube, uh, basically I've been setting up an IRL streaming backpack, and I've done a few IRL streams. In fact, um, yeah, let me just kind of do a little bit of a recap on the past 2 months, because we've been gone for 2 months. Um, I've been gone. I've been gone. We've been gone for 2 months. I think a lot of people are getting hyped up about AI. It's a lot of potential, but I feel like a lot of people are just saying, "Oh, it's worse than you could ever imagine." It's like, "Oh, but in five." It's like I understand, like hindsight is 2020, but foresight, just like forcing, can't always be understood. But I really do think it's a big red herring. I don't think AI is going to be anywhere near as scary as people think it is. I think humans are scary, but I think in the end of the day, basic survival will take over. I don't think because it's against everybody's self-interest to do things that are going to hurt the entire species. Like even as terrible as humans are, like even as terrible as people can be, like with things that they do, I do think that like in the end of the day, if you had a button that says destroy the earth, and if you live on earth, like you're not going to press it unless you're absolutely insane. So that is something to be scared of, but I think that's why it's really important to have sanctions. It's a really dangerous technology in the wrong hands, and it's also dangerous in the people that we say are like I don't know. There's two sides to it, which is why we need to always be vigilant. We need to always be vigilant about stuff that can hurt us and do what we can. Maximize on the things you can control and minimize the things that you can't. I wonder if people think it's just like you see the AI stuff happening, and it makes you think like, well, what if there's more advanced AI out there? Who knows like how many content creators are actually AI? You can't go down that line of thinking. I already did that in 2019. I'm going to tell you right now, from someone who's gone through that and gotten out, it doesn't help. Even if it's true, even if it were true, it doesn't help because you have nobody's gonna. There's no confirmation. Nobody's gonna be able to know. Like maybe nobody will ever know. Is there any real distinction between AI and humans? Are we AI? Like, are we artificial? We could have been created. Some people really do believe that. I believe in something a little bit more grandiose, which is we're part of like a natural algorithm in the universe, and we're an accident, which makes us more beautiful. I think. I think it makes us more beautiful that we're an accident. Because how can something so beautiful happen by accident? It makes it that more special, right? I think it's so much more beautiful um, that we're an accident. Because sometimes accidents can be the best thing that ever happened to your life. You know? Sometimes you do something. Obviously, accidents can be bad. Like you can trip and fall, or you can get, I don't know. We're not going to talk about it anymore. It's good seeing that little purple icon on my restream again. You know what? I'm gonna, I'm using that same picture. I really like that picture, the profile picture on my Twitch, but I think it's time to, use my real picture, just like on my other social medias. I think it's time to put my real picture on Twitch. I liked the little cartoon, but I think it's been there long enough. And now that I think this is a new chapter, let's just kind of create a new chapter. Okay. Let's use the orange one. That one's a little bit kind of more twitchy, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm super glad to have, now I didn't, now I have my full spectrum. For the sun. I have my full spectrum of social medias online. Is online. Yeah, so like still early, still having my tea, still having my salad. Um, yeah, I've made sure, to always like be careful about what I say and do on stream, and so I'm really glad that things worked out. Like I said, I was getting really scared there for a while because it's not even about me. Like I said, it's about like the fact that I couldn't talk to other creators, I couldn't talk with other people, and it was just really bothering me. Um, in fact, I was watching someone the other day. Let me just DM this person. Yeah. Hopefully the music is safe to play now. Okay, there we go. So I got a salad with quinoa and garbanzos. Really, like, full, like, nutrition value. Is there and we're not talking about it. Space ducks. We're not talking about it. The first rule of Fight Club. We're not talking about it. First rule of Fight Club, okay? First rule of Fight Club. Oh. What? Oh! I was wondering what happened. And it's because, I forgot to switch to the headphones. There we go. Oh, this is a good track. I'm kind of gathering myself right now. I just decided to go live, and we're in the portion of the stream where I'm just kind of gathering my thoughts. So I'm just gonna chill for a bit. Like, what the fuck is she doing? Hey, what's up, Mark? Mark. What's up, Mark? What's up, Mark? What's up, Mark? Do I have a sense of self-importance? Yes. I can't. It says the user's settings prevent you from receiving this whisper. Is that what you wanted me to... Is that why you want... Is that why you wanted me to whisper you? You wanted to test it out? Well, I'm glad to help. Oh, let me let's see. Let's put it up here. I can't whisper you. I'm sorry. I just can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. I mean, it's just not possible. Why not? It's not possible. Why not? It's not possible. Why not? It just isn't. Why not, you crazy, you stupid bastard. Wait. Why? Why not, you stupid bastard? It's just not possible. Why isn't it possible? It just isn't. Why not, you stupid bastard? I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I literally can't. That user settings prevent them from receiving this whisper. Um, cool quote from United States Psychopath. American Psycho. Am I gonna get DMCA just for saying it? We literally just got back, okay? Let's not get banned. No, seriously, I'm not, obviously I don't try to I don't try to shake the beehive. Okay, I try to tend it. But it is kind of frustrating when people in power do make you feel like you can't even say anything. And there is something about that, and the really most fucked up part is that some people can actually absolutely destroy you as like a way to try to control you. And that's really fucked up because it means that sometimes, obviously for Twitch, like that's different. Like, it's just internet stuff. But there's people, at a bigger, on like a bigger scale, like there's a lot of stuff going on where people have so much control of your lives, and as much as we like to say like that they don't, they really do. And there's people out there that, they're like, oh, it's like they keep entire demographics of people down through fear and controlling people with violence. Like, these are terrible things. Like, controlling people through violence is a real thing, and the worst part is that fighting back can mean your life, or at least your general well-being and your safety. And I feel like, okay, enough talking. Let's play some Hogwarts Legacy. Okay. No, we're not going there either direction. I'm staying out of the whole. I mean, I already did my video. I'm done. I'm done with the whole Hogwarts Legacy thing. There's bigger. I like what Hassan says. How's it going, Alpha Trans guy? You're Alpha. You must be an Andrew Tate enjoyer. Are you a top G? No, I mean, I made my video. I made my video. It was basically, basically the whole summing up on the whole Hogwarts Legacy on either side of the issue. There's two sides. Like, there's two parts to the equation. And both of these equations, both of these sides of the equation are not full. Like, they're not like they're not acting on a full tank of gas. So on one hand, you have the people who are just wanting to play Hogwarts Legacy because it looks like a fun game. I mean, I don't know. But at the same time, they're being harassed by a whole bunch of people and they have no idea why. And the reason why, the other side of the equation, the reason why is important, but the fact that they're being harassed is very important too, because that's wrong. Okay, and these are just people who are absolutely, people, and also some people even raising money for charities. These are people who are being harassed for playing a video game. And I like what Hassan says, is some people say, oh, it's not much to ask, just don't play a game. If it, obviously it's asking isn't going to change it. You could ask someone to stop, you can ask someone to eat vegan. It doesn't mean they have to. I think vegans are a good example. This, and the whole meat is murder thing. I think murder is murder, like human beings. We've been cultivating food since after the caveman days. We've been hunter-gatherers, and then we started cultivating food with agriculture. Agriculture starts with, first of all, plant life has way more of a global impact to the environment, like way more. It's way more impactful, in a negative way, for farming plant life, like agriculture, than it is to cultivate livestock. But the thing is like, we created this world. The fact that we have livestock in the first place is because we've artificially cultivated life forms. Yeah, the agricultural revolution, the Neolithic era. Thanks, Space Ducks. So the fact that there's so many species out there that we actually don't even know if they would have survived if we didn't cultivate them to eat them. Like if we didn't raise livestock to eat them, it's very possible that like bison and by extension cows, because bison were the original animals. They got hunted to extinction pretty much. I mean, to at least endangerment. And I blame imperialism for that. Because there really was no problem with people eating food. There was a problem with people getting greedy and not, and taking more than they need, taking more than the environment can handle. So people start cultivating, people start raising and breeding livestock so that they could have more, instead of actually dealing with the issue, which is like not taking more than you need. And also using every part of the animal. It's perfectly fine to go, you like find an animal that's like dying and you put it out of its misery. That's one thing too. But also I think it's perfectly fine to have an animal just live a healthy life. And then, at the right time, you just, there's going to be a time when its meat is like the best for consumption. I don't think there's any, hey Jess, welcome back. We're back, baby. I'll be back. Hold my beer. Don't worry, I'm going to be a good girl. Okay, I'm going to be a good girl. Okay, and in fact, I was a good girl. Okay, like they do believe that, I should have expected a suspension after something accident. I don't know, it was an accident. Like, I mean, so I'm really glad they finally realized it was an accident. Because, I mean, obviously there was a need for some kind of action to, obviously, it's like, in order to battle the Streisand effect, no, I'm not vegan. I'm using vegans as a comparison to what people do with the Hogwarts Legacy thing. Because nobody cares about vegans. Obviously, vegans do, and people do sympathize with vegans. But the whole thing is, you can't, if you want to fight against problems, there's a way to do it and there's a way to not do it. And what vegans do is they just yell at people to be vegan. And that makes people want to be vegan even less. And if you learn from them, I think my people can actually get out of this. okay? If we learn from vegans in the way that we see what they're doing and what they've done and see that it's not effective and then change tactics, okay? Like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, okay? Going on Twitter and screaming at people and harassing people who don't even have anything to do with the discourse around trans rights or anything. It has nothing to do. It's not going to help at all. Yeah, it's just a game. But at the same time, I mean, it like, here's the thing. It's not just about the game. And also, first of all, the people who worked on the game, there's probably, I mean, obviously, I'm going to tell you right now. If you watch any cartoon with voice acting, if you watch any TV show with people who are actors and people who are writers and people who are executive producers and all the people involved, there's going to be people that are just shitty people because they're people and people are shitty. And just because it's entertainment, it doesn't mean it's somehow, like, I don't understand why people magically like think that somehow the entertainment business is exempt from shitty people. It does kind of seem to attract a lot of people, but I think that's because it has more media attention. I think it's like, I don't know. I think the thing to do is understand that, like, people who are being harassed, it's not right that they're being harassed, but I hope they use it as kind of a stepping stone to realize that there's something going on and there's a reason why people are angry. But the people who are angry need to channel that anger into something constructive that's actually going to help our cause. So basically, if you don't know much about the Hogwarts, especially, basically, if you don't know much about the Hogwarts Legacy controversy, here's the kind of rundown of the whole situation. Here's kind of a rundown of the whole situation. So J.K. Rowling, she wrote a beloved book series called Harry Potter. It came out when I was in the third one came out when I was in 6th grade, and I started reading it, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I felt like I finally had something that I could relate to. I could really relate to Harry Potter, because I was basically, I was basically like just shoved into a corner by society, and anytime that, but because things, obviously when people treated me nicely, they wondered like, oh, you don't have it that bad. Like, it's okay. And obviously this is in the past, and everyone involved, at least some of the people, like kind of have, people grow out of things and they understand things better, including myself. But I could really relate to Harry Potter because he was just, shoved into a closet and, picked on and just seen as insignificant and like somebody who doesn't really matter. The only difference is I was like loud and I was trying to get noticed. And I feel like Harry Potter, I think he just kind of, just a normal kid. Like, I think that's actually the thing about Harry Potter is that he's just a normal kid. But, and also Neville, all right? I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I don't know. Like, basically, any one of us can be a champion of something that matters. And it matters what you do. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can be just anybody. And you could choose to go down a dark path, or you could choose to go down a good path. Where you not, and I think it's not necessarily about good and bad. It's like a path where you're going to like, fight for things that are, helping people rather than fight for things that hurt people. And you can go either direction. It could happen to anybody. No one's exempt from it. Nothing about you is special, but you are special because you get the power to choose what you do by maximizing the things you can control and minimizing the things that you can't, because you're just a people observer, and the ends justify the means. And now time for an ad break. Top of the hour ad break. But why drink water when you can drink Dr. Pepper? And, okay, so basically, people double down in some cases, and this is a problem too, is that they got called out, and obviously it's wrong that people were trying to just boycott a game. Like, it's boycotting a game is not going to work. There's hundreds of millions of people who downloaded it. There's going to be people who have even no idea about J.K. Rowling. And I think that's the point that I need to really get across, is that the intellectual property, while it is owned and has been maintained by a person who has been more than transphobic, who has actively rallied an entire, she has like an entire like cult following of women who think that trans women are just men infiltrating womanhood. If anything, I feel like these women are infiltrating. Like, if anything, it's like you're harming women. Last time I checked, obviously there's always going to be bad apples. Last time I checked, there's never really been any like trans people making headlines about heinous crimes. There's been a few people, obviously, because we're people. And she didn't just post some hate on Twitter. I understand why they're pissed. Okay, I'm trans, myself as well. Jess, and and you are as well. I believe you've said so. And also you have the trans flag, and you said so a long time ago when I first met you. So I'm getting to that in a second. She did more than just talk on Twitter. She wrote an entire essay that she submitted to be like a writing competition like across the UK. And her essay was basically a manifesto saying that trans women aren't women. Aren't. Like, she made a whole manifesto. And not only that, but she won an award for it. And the people the people who awarded her the judges tried to pass it off as like, oh, we're not judging it by the content, we're judging it by the writing. And it's like, writing is the content. There's no purpose to write unless you have something to say. That's why people write. People don't write just for shits and giggles. And obviously you can, but that's a whole different thing. Writing, the reason why essays and writing in general is so powerful is because you have something that you need to address, even if that's just entertaining people, which is really important. I think it's downplayed a lot. Making people laugh, like comedians, entertaining people in multiple ways. Just a second. Exactly. Oh, oh God. What's the latest thing from Trump? Gotta be careful what I show on stream, as if it's Donald Trump. Uh-oh. What's the latest thing? Judge orders release of parts of Georgia's grand jury report. Oh, Trump bashes Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime performance? What? Why do people... Here's the thing. And this is the problem with this movement of trying to cancel people for playing video games or anything like that. Or, a movie that had getting a trans character in a movie or a gay character in a movie or TV show. Obviously, while it is important that, that Nicole Maines is the world's first transgender superhero, like on TV, I think, or at all. Like, I think it is really a big deal, but why is that our battlefield? Like, why is that what we're fighting for? Why are we, and this is what Hassan was saying, make a bigger ask. Make a bigger ask. You know, did you see the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King Jr.? I share the same birthday as him. Um, I, you know what? I never actually completely verified this. January 15th, yeah, 1929. I was also born in 1929. No, uh, yeah, I have the same exact, you know, I have the same birthday as him, and I always that kind of helped me like I don't know. I really relate to things and it makes me more interested. And then I kind of, it starts out there, like when I get interested in things, and then it becomes like a new thing. Um, but I remember as a kid, I like really looked up to Martin Luther King Jr. And I didn't fully understand until even today. Like I don't think anyone fully understands the depth and the depravity and the sadness and the pain. I don't think anyone understands in any demographic that's being targeted. I don't think anyone fully knows. And I think if you did, well, you'd probably lose your mind. Um, but do you think Martin Luther King Jr. was asking for more books to be written about black people? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were. Do you think he wanted? Do you think he was asking for more TV shows with black people in it? No, he wanted the black vote to count. Okay, because with Jim Crow laws, you know, and all the whole like passive aggressiveness that is still going on today, that he fought for and he died for. Do you think that's what he died for? Was some entertainment, some TV show or movie? Well, it is important. It's a reflection. It's only a reflection of the rest of our right of human rights. Because obviously trans people are very underrepresented, and that's because there's only like 1% of us. We're a very small demographic, and when we are represented, it's usually like a very token way. And so we're kind of figuring out, I mean, I don't know, I feel like it's a very different issue. I don't like doing victim Olympics, but we are victims, and just like, you know, the black community are victims, and it's all rooted in imperialism. But I mean, it's completely all rooted in imperialism. It's basically some people, you know, the British crown, in monarchy, the British monarchy, in the, you know, that took over like countries all over the world so it can impose its will. Imperialism, impose, right? They're imposing. They said they're savages. We need to stop that and have them live godly lives, right? That's where it all stems from. And I have no idea how it got that way, how people could even get there. Like, why? Like, why can't you just accept other people? And there are different cultures. Like, there's different cultures. Like, people came over, you know, and obviously you could say that, you know, the French people found, you know, the East Indies or whatever, or not East, the islands or whatever. Um, but you know, it's or like Central America area, like, you know, like the people who like it was like, you know, the Spanish and the Portuguese and the French. But you have to understand that like a lot of these countries and you know, originally were conquered by the monarchy, and they were adapted, and their cultural identity was stolen and adapted to become the problem. And they went all around the world, and then that's what Gandhi fought for. And you know, you know, he was trying to get imperialism out of, what do they call it, apartheid or apartheid, apartheid. Like basically, it's just, you know, colonization, and then imposing your rule of law on other cultures, other nations, and stealing their identity from them. Um, and there's much more to it, and yeah, I understand that people are angry about media, because media does like influence a lot of people, especially in the United States where people just love TV. I don't know why. Yeah, I do know why. It's because TV is so accessible to people who even are to people who are living in poverty. And so it's really important to them, but like make a bigger ask. You know, TV shouldn't be the bastion. Like, TV shows should not be what we're fighting for. And like all the people in the past who have fought for human rights, including workers' rights, like Cesar Chavez, you know, unionizing, like Susan B. Anthony, like for women's suffrage. I'm not completely versed on history. I've read so much that it's all become like overwhelming, because I remember I've read a lot of history, but at a certain point it just becomes so much to keep track of, and like I just forget details. Yeah, Susan B. Anthony, American women's rights activist, champion of temperance, abolition, the rights of labor, and equal pay for equal work. Susan Brownell Anthony became one of the most visible leaders of the women's suffrage movement. Yeah. It's people who become main characters who make the main storyline progression. You have to make yourself into a main character if you're going to make change. And unfortunately, that does put you at risk. And I'm not trying to say that I'm the main character, but I've always felt like the main character, like since I was like 4 years old, you know? And I talk about it in my latest tweet thread. You can follow me on at Rebecca Lauren. And I wrote a tweet thread about it. And of course, like places like Twitter, even people fight for Twitter, and this goes for everyone. You see a lot of people on the right, and what they're angry about most of the time, if they're not actively fighting, I mean, they are in effect, because they support people who are actively trying to harm trans people or black people. You know, there's people who really are trying to control people. But I think a lot of people who are sympathetic to the right-wing cause is, I think they just feel like they're being silenced on Twitter. And I think it's just the same exact thing that's happening with people canceling Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think it's different at all. Like, I think conservatives who are like always complaining about being silenced, quote unquote, like people who are always complaining about being silenced on social media, I think it's just as bad as people trying to cancel people for playing Hogwarts Legacy. Prove me wrong. I mean, you could like prove me wrong. I don't think you can. I think it's just as annoying and stupid, meaningless. You being silenced on Twitter doesn't get rid of your human rights. Trying to cancel people on Twitter is just going to hurt our cause. For any, like, and it's just like for playing Hogwarts Legacy, like, make a bigger ask. Maybe we should be fighting for, you know, we are trying to protest and fight for, you know, for like the right to our health care that's life-saving. And I feel like I've been doing my part, and I don't like I don't like see myself as some kind of like, I don't do this on, I do kind of do things on purpose, like, but at the same time, I don't like set out to like, I'm not like, I don't have delusions that my actions have like a specific effect or not, but I do what I can. And one of the things I do is I feel like I've really, at least in the area that I can. You live in stealth mode. I mean, unfortunately, in some places, that's what you need to do to survive, and it's really fucked up because it hurts you. And I can't, and obviously, I don't expect anyone to risk themselves and their safety. But honestly, there's two things you can do. Is you could either live in stealth, denying yourself your entire identity and your expression of your identity, which is a core part of the human experience. You're literally shutting yourself off and shutting the world off from a core part of who you are because you feel pressured to by violent people. And the violent people are wrong, but it doesn't change the fact that they hurt you. Yeah, I might check it out. Plan to ban gender affirming care for minors. Yeah, see, this is killing people. This is what we should be fighting against. This is what we should be fighting against. But not everybody has the ability to. But what we can do is we can fight back by living our lives. Not getting angry on Twitter. They're winning when you do that. Do you understand? I figured this out a long time ago. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but they're winning if you let them control you that way. They're winning if you do that. Getting angry at the fact that people are playing a video game. You're what are you doing? Like, why is your whole like if you're dedicating your whole life to being an angry person on Twitter, shouting at everybody, what are you doing to yourself? So what I do is I protest by living my life the best way I can. Okay? Making myself as happy as I can in the small ways and large ways. By getting my gender affirming treatments, by getting my surgeries that are coming up. I have a surgery coming up in a month, my facial surgery. And when I come back and my face is going to be all swollen and stuff, I'm going to come back as soon as I can, but I'm going to take time off to recover. 8 or 9, you only transitioned at 18. Yeah, I mean, for some people, they knew. When you know, you know. I didn't know, and unfortunately, I didn't know what it was until I was like 18 or so. But if I had known, I would have been miserable because of the way they treat people, but I would have fought for it. And also, I could have fought for it when I was 18. But I didn't. I don't know what would have happened. Maybe I would have made some social change. You can't know what would happen if I did something different. What if I ended up, fighting back then, like in 2008, 2009, when I came out publicly in like 2008 or so? Like, who knows what could have happened if I really fought for my right to get surgery and stuff, because I could never have afforded it unless insurance happened. And eventually insurance started to cover it, but it's not the case for everyone everywhere. But I can't be feeling the pain of millions of people, because then the people who are keeping us down win. Do you understand? Do whatever you can to improve your life. That is the way you fight back. Be happy. Try to, if you can't get access to surgeries or HRT or hormone blockers, if you can't get that, then your goal is to get that. I got that. And so I have to move on to the next thing because I got that. That's something to be very, very proud of. That I got something that people are dying for. Yeah, I mean, this is not new, Jess Matrix. This is why I'm kind of like, oh, this is another thing Trump says. We already know this about him. Like, he's trying to appeal to these people so they're going to vote for him, but they're getting more and more fringe. He did make the most transphobic laws in his it wasn't just him, it was the entire administration, but we've replaced a lot of those people, and a lot more Republicans are starting to rally behind what should be bipartisan policies. Healthcare should be available to everyone who needs it in general. This goes beyond transgender, like gender affirming care. People don't champion like cancer treatments, like denying cancer treatments to minors. So why are they championing life-saving gender affirming treatments for minors? Because a lot of these people, they will not reach 18. Do you understand? They will not reach 18 if you force this on them. Because when you know, you know. And there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Fitness gram pacer test? I have no idea what that is. Pacer test? Cooper Institute? Multi-stage aerobic capacity? Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. When they put you on the treadmill and just keep pushing you. How can you use running to train your voice? I don't understand. It's aerobic. What are you talking about? Multi-stage aerobic capacity test. What does that have anything to do with voice training? I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're talking about, Jess. Cardiovascular endurance run. Progressive aerobic cardiovascular endurance run. Fact check. Post claiming U.S. schools district banned fitness gram pacer test is satire. Yeah, cardiovascular and muscular health. Oh, you mean like people who wanted to be spokespeople for it? You should have clarified that. I mean, people aren't going to understand. I'm sorry, but like, people aren't going to understand what you mean by that. Like, if you used to say the pacer test to train their voice, I mean, obviously, you know, it makes sense now, but like, why didn't you lead with that? I'm sorry, I'm just being a little bit nitpicky. I'll leave you alone, Jess. I don't want to be harassing my viewers. I literally just got unbanned. You mean like reading the text on the page to practice? Here's the thing about voice feminization. It's not about emulation. Okay? Like, it's about understanding how your voice works, how the vocal folds work. And you're not going to get the voice that you want. You're going to get the voice that is authentically yours. Because when you start like thinking about it as trying to sound like other women, well, then you're really just emulating, and that's not what womanhood is. And obviously, a lot of women do go towards the imitation thing. So, if anything, like it's everything, it's all gender confirming. Okay, the way women are. Okay, like we are other women. We are women. Like we act in ways that align with other women, and it's not even something we're trying to do. It's because we are women. Okay, like nothing. You don't need to force it. You kind of do. I do understand because you're used to you do have to work extra hard to train your voice, and reading things is actually a really good litmus test. Hey, last round, we're back, baby. Luckily, luckily somebody was looking out for me over at Twitch, and so I like thank you. I could take this opportunity to get angry and like call out Twitch like a lot of people do, which might get me a few clicks, but it's not worth it. I've done a lot. I already been around long enough. Being controversial just on its own is not enough, okay? You're just going to get banned and swept under the rug, and nobody's going to hear you. You have to have clout first. Okay? And I'm trying to figure out how to get clout, but that's not it. It's not clout that's not the kind of clout you want. Like that's the kind of clout that people hate. Like people are angry at trans people, and there's a reason. It's not because we're trans. It's because so many trans people go to the internet to try to fight for our rights. That's not how it works. And yeah, it is one of the vehicles for communication. It is one of the vehicles for communicating and expressing ourselves. So there is something to be said about that. But like, there's better things to be fighting for than content creators playing a video game. In fact, some of these content creators raised money for charities. I think it would, obviously people were calling out which charities people should donate to. People, do you think it's kind of crazy that we live in a world where somebody who raises $1 million for an effort to help people in Turkey and people who is like literally his people, like he's from Turkey, like Hasanabi, like he's from like Hassan Piker, but his username is Hasanabi or Hassan the Hun on Twitter. Like Hassan, like he's from Turkey. It makes sense that he would tragedy. There's a big giant earthquake where people losing their homes, losing their lives, more importantly. And so like a recovery and also losing their long-term livelihood. It's one thing to save your life, but if you don't have a life to go back to, like why do we care so much about saving people's lives, but we don't care about helping them once we save them? They don't hate you. You hate me because I'm not cis. Yeah. But you don't need to worry about those people. Put things in perspective. These are fringe people, and I know it doesn't seem like that, but that's because a lot of mentally ill people go to Twitter. I know because I'm mentally ill. Do you understand? Like put things in perspective. How many trans people have you met in real life who are like angry people trying to cancel people? It's a fringe group of people. But it seems really loud because the only people who really go on Twitter are unhinged people. So if everyone's unhinged, then you kind of have to like realize in a demographic, like if the entire demographic of Twitter is basically unhinged, like you're going to see unhinged behavior. Okay, so I wish people would stop. I think people are going to start figuring it out soon. I can only hope. I can only pray to my Lord Jesus. Okay, I don't say that. No, the thing is like I really do believe in like spirituality, and I don't like to. Obviously, I don't shit on other people for having different beliefs. It's so terrible. Like when people it's like when people try to convert me to Christianity, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have my own faith, I have my own spirituality. And I feel like some people, they keep trying to convert you. And it's like that's pretty rude. It's very insensitive too. Like, You don't know what my spirituality is. It's my own private relationship with God. It's like, how dare you? Like how dare you come up to me and try to say that I should be Christian when I have my own faith. I have my own spiritual beliefs. And, I wouldn't go to you and try to, I wish more people would kind of learn the lessons from their religion instead of using it as a shield. That's a different problem. That's not religion. That's people. Okay? So try to fight the root cause of something. People playing Harry Potter is not the problem. J.K. Rowling isn't even the problem. J.K. Rowling represents a problem that has existed since like the dawn of society, which is that people who are different are cast out as pariahs, different than what they consider to be the norm. Well, we are unhappy, but because of the way that they treat us. Like, they're literally punching us in the face and then asking us why our nose is bleeding. That we will detransition. So the reason people detransition is because of their behavior. They're bullying them. They're bullying us. And some people, I do want to tell you right now, there are some people who are really fucked up and who want to make everyone trans. There are people like that. And it's sick. You know you're trans if you're trans. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to like coax people out of their egg. But I think it's like everybody works on their own timeline. Nobody is required to transition on what you think they should do. I do think people should transition if they know they need to transition. But it took me 10 years to do that, to get there. Okay, some people are there sooner, like at 8 or 9 or 4 or 5 even. And it doesn't come across, I don't know why people think that it's some kind of brainwash. This happens like completely independent of what people like. In fact, it even confirms that we are who we are, that it's not some kind of brainwashing or social media movement. Because when you're 4 or 5 and like we notice this with trans kids who are like they know their gender at like 4 or 5, it's not they just know, like they don't even know like why, they just know who they are, and they don't see it the same way that like social media is trying to paint it out as. They don't have all this information. They just know. They might not understand it, but they know. Just like when I knew. And like you learn stuff as you go, because there's a reality about being trans that, we have our own version of the talk, which is basically not even like a talk. It's basically just drilled into us. It's a different problem than what's going on with Black rights movement, Black Lives Matter. Like, it's a different problem, and it's actually like both problems. And for a lot of demographics, it's not a victim Olympics, but but there's been a lot of things happening over time with trans people that where at certain parts in certain cultures we were revered and respected, and other parts, again after imperialism, where we're seen as abominations of God. And that we need to not exist, and that we're wrong for existing. But we do exist, and we always have. The only thing that's changed is the way people treat us. And we can change that. And I don't know how. You don't think a kid acting too feminized or masculine means they're trans? Yeah, exactly. I think it is too far. Just stop. I think the problem is that we know too much. We're too smart for our own good as a species. Because when you focus on things, like a little kid isn't thinking about socio-political impacts of the fact that they're trans. They don't think about all this. They just know what they feel. And it's not even about being gay either. Like this whole assumption that like being feminine or masculine makes you gay. It's really toxic. Because there's a lot of feminine men who just, they're men. And whether they might be gay, but like them being gay, like there's plenty of masculine gay people. It's like a type among gay people, like, and then there's femboys, like that's a thing too. But it doesn't make them gay. I mean, they might be. You know, people are gay, or people are straight, or people are asexual. Like, it's just a thing. It doesn't mean anything. It's out, but it, you know, outside of itself. Are you gonna stream Overwatch again? I haven't played Overwatch in quite a while. I go through cycles with video games. It makes, I don't know. It's like variety content. I mostly just do just chatting nowadays, and I set up an IRL backpack, so I want to do more IRL. I've already met like people out in public that I never would have met before, and like get experiences that I get to remember, and I capture it on film. Like, that IRL is super special. But I feel like, you know, my specialty is more in just chatting. Okay. Okay. But I think it's this whole idea that people assign so much meaning to things that literally aren't there. They're making it what they want it to be. They're making it that they're the thing that they're angry about. Because they want to be angry at something. They want to justify their hatred instead of doing the work to accept people. I think that's what's going on. They want to find reasons for why they're angry instead of doing the work that it takes to understand people and have empathy for people. Because it's hard work, and a lot of people aren't willing to do it. So they'll do mental gymnastics to convince themselves that trans people are evil. Like, do I look evil to you? I'm this evil trans person you've all been hearing about. Do I look evil? Am I harmful? Like, I'm harmless. I'm just a person. I mean, yeah, like, I have opinions and ideas, but so does everyone else. And I think people like to attach extra things. They have this extra judgment because they have all these beliefs, and they do all these mental gymnastics and all that. And they attach it. And really, like, if we didn't have all this transphobia surrounding us, we would be pretty boring, just like everyone else. Hey, Set. I'm back. We're back, baby. We have risen from the ashes. We fought. And we fell. But we came back. We picked up our sword. We dusted ourselves off. And we started swinging. People will try to keep us down. They'll try to take away our voice. They'll try to take away everything that we stand for. But no more. We are not social justice warriors. We are not toxic internet, terminally online internet people who go on forums to harass people and dox people. We are people. We are boring. We play video games. We talk about things that annoy us. We poop. We shower. we go to work and we talk to people and we do basic things that are like really cringe. We are trans and it doesn't matter because we're boring as fuck too. Rebecca, did you just save the trans movement? Yes, I single-handedly saved trans people. You're welcome. Because you know what I've been doing? Is while everybody was online trying to cancel people, I was just trying to raise myself up. And I went online. I went into Discords that were harassing me. And instead of trying to fight back, I just stood up for myself. And people started to respect me on Discords, on voice chats even. And I've been doing this for 3 years, or like, I guess 2 years now on Discord. And I've noticed a huge change since I started doing that. For me specifically. Like, I've noticed a huge shift. And it's part of it is because of people like Hassan and other content creators. Even Destiny. I know people like to shit on Destiny. Destiny is one of our hugest advocates, just like Hasanabi. And Vosh is as well. All three of those creators have some problems I'm not going to get into. There's plenty of people talking about that. I really, like I said, I don't want to go cancel people. I think people are just people. And I do have things to say about certain things. But, there's nothing I can do to change someone. I can kind of just say my piece and then move on. And I'm glad you like my IRL. I really want to do more. I think it really puts me out in the world. I think it's really healthy. I feel like I'm just more connected when I go out in IRL. Yeah, and no, here's the thing: is that there's a lot of people online who every single time they hear like they constantly like talk about like Hassan or Destiny and like trying to like cancel them, and it's like, dude, you're not effective. It doesn't matter. They're literally just someone on the internet talking into a microphone. Okay, like it doesn't matter. But not only that, they could just choose to ignore us or even actively shit on us. But you know what they do? You know what Hasanabi and Destiny and Vosh do? Is they have a very large platform with like 1 million viewers every single video, who actively educate people about the issues that trans people face, and they educate people about trans medicine to clarify misunderstandings that people have about trans people. And they didn't just do it once just for brownie points, just for virtue signaling. They do it on a regular basis, and they shut down people in their chat for doing it. And if you watch them for longer than a 30-second clip, you would fucking know this. Anyway, that's for the people who do that. That's not for you. That's for the people who do that. You need to learn as a content creator. Not everything's about you. Like, obviously, you're one of the good ones, Set. But I feel like I've been working in the shadows. I mean, maybe main character syndrome. I don't give a fuck. Main characters progress the main storyline. You know who else had main character syndrome? Gandhi, Susan B. Anthony, Rosa Parks, Cesar Chavez, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and like James Baldwin. So, main character syndrome is important. Obviously, it can also hurt you. And I think it's like, you have to understand that even though I see myself as a main character, I'm not. We all are. the main character. Everyone's the main character. And we should be. Because main characters progress the storyline. NPCs are important too. Without NPCs, there would be no world to save. You wouldn't have access to critical resources if there weren't NPCs. Some people want to be NPCs. Not everybody has main character syndrome. And that's fine. That's perfect. It's the balance. Some people just want to live in the background and not make a stir. And that's fine. Not everybody wants to go out and protest or boycott things. And the fact that people would compare trying to boycott Hogwarts Legacy to Rosa Parks sitting on the front of the seat, in front of the bus, or from other historical boycotts. The fact that they would compare that to that is extremely offensive to all the people who have given their lives for human rights. Yeah, everyone is important. Everyone's famous to someone. The people who love you are who matters. My viewers who show up and my moderators who show up are what matters. For example, the people in my life who care about me in a different context. The people in my life who care about me, the people who support me and assist me and just overall are allies to me. Those people are who matter. Not the people on Twitter saying really anti-Semitic and racist and transphobic and homophobic shit. Those people do not matter and they shouldn't. And the more that you try to cancel them, the more power you're giving to them. You're putting gasoline in a fire. It is the Barbra Streisand effect, or the Streisand effect. The more you call it out, the more it becomes what you don't want it to be. Because you're confirming their beliefs about you. That you're a social justice warrior who just cries about everything just because you don't like it. Okay? It's okay to be upset. It's okay to want change. But pick your fucking battles, please. Going on social media to boycott, quote unquote, a video game and harassing those who don't? Like, it's one thing if you boycott the game. I don't want to play the game. I don't really consider it a boycott. It's like, I could boycott cigarettes, but I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't like cigarettes. So is that really a boycott? A true boycott is something that you need or want, and you're willingly choosing to deny it to yourself. That's a boycott. Like boycotting buses for forcing black people to sit in the back. And it's more than just protesting in one instant. It's a long-term, dedicated, focused effort with legal action. That is what makes change, not going on Twitter and saying something. Okay? You can do whatever you want on this. I don't know. You can't do whatever you want on kick.com. At least I don't think you can. I don't want to because I am multi-streaming and I just got unbanned from Twitch. So yeah, you can't do whatever you want. If you do certain things, you're going to get banned. There's basic human decency. There's actually human laws that are in various countries. So you can't break the law. If you break the law, you're gonna go to jail or owe a lot of money or whatever. But going, like, it wasn't just Rosa Parks sitting at the front. Like the civil rights movement, the Black Lives Matter movement. It's a dedicated effort over time. It's not just getting your phone, like, going and like making a tweet. Okay. But it's still okay to express yourself. It's a part of it's a part of change. People who express themselves and make themselves heard are a huge part of the change. When you get back, I am playing Final Fantasy 11 again. I'm just playing off stream. And in fact, my brother got into the game. Like we already played on Horizon, but I got back on retail as well, and it's good to have both options because I can play classic or I can play, um, I can play classic or I can play current retail. Yeah, I mean it's just like World of Warcraft. You can play retail or you can play classic. Um, but it's like $15 a month. I mean, it's I don't know. I might cancel a few of my streaming services like I don't know, every time I cancel like Netflix and stuff, like I always just end up getting it back because I want to watch something. So like I don't think it's I do I am short on money right now. By the way, I really am short on money. I don't want to like ask you to donate. I mean but if you can't afford it, then don't do it. But I am really short on money right now. Like I spent I made a mistake. I mean if you don't have to, it is my fault. I spent way too much money at once. I even went to the negative, and I had to I had to ask for some money from some people in my life. And I'm getting money soon, so don't worry about it. But like anything is always appreciated. I don't like running my stream based on some subscribers or I even unpartnered or unaffiliated with Twitch specifically so that I could not have ads, and so I didn't because that ruins the experience for viewers. Um, so I could not have ads, and so that I can multi-stream to multiple websites like YouTube, and kick.com got added into the mix. And I'm getting some viewership on kick.com. It's a new platform, so I was one of the first streamers on it. And so like, by being on a platform that's smaller, I get a little bit more viewership. It's really like temporary. But it's a good thing to capitalize on. Even any small amount of chances to grow. I do much more than just stream, but yeah, no, no. Don't worry about it, Set. I was just saying that like I said, I don't like the whole like let's get a follower goal. Let's get subscribers, let's get donations. Like you don't do that until you're established and you're trying to reach a goal. Like I do have a charity, for the Trevor Project. But in order to get that to work, you need to have the kind of established presence on the platform to do that. And so it's like people generally don't do like even people who are established, a lot of the viewers might not really enjoy that kind of content because they're there for the everyday stuff. They're not there for like, oh, let's raise money for a cause. And I understand it's important to do that, but like I don't it's not good content. Like I mean, it is, but like, as far as like helping people, it's good. Like it's good. But like as far as like entertainment, like it's not entertaining to watch people. I mean, you could make it entertaining. Like, when people do stuff like shave their head or their eyebrows or whatever, I'm not doing that shit. You know how long I worked on this hair? It's been 3.5 years. I've only gotten cut once because, obviously you got to keep your hair maintained and clean and all that. And I've only gotten a haircut once in 3.5 years. Okay. I worked really hard to get this hair. I'm not shaving my hair. I don't care if you're going to donate hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. Okay. I don't know. Maybe if somebody donated enough money, I would shave my head. I am getting facial surgery soon. That might help. No, then you would see my scars more. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not shaving my head. Now, eyebrows, that's a different story. Those grow back, but they take a while, but like I do have nice hair, thank you. I try to take care of it. My facial surgery will fix a couple things that bother me, like this. Kind of bring it more level. This does bother me. Well, it's not like necessary for me to do it from like I shouldn't be required to do it, but I want to do it because I feel really uncomfortable, and I have the means to change it with feminizing surgery. So if I can and it's going to help me, why avoid it? And I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to go through, and also it's more than just that. Like it's like this. It's because I just don't like looking at myself in the mirror sometimes. And I don't like that feeling. because it makes me feel like there's no hope. It makes me feel like I'm never going to truly be happy. And I know that it's like, times are changing and people are becoming less, there's less requirements to be considered a woman. Like literally you are a woman. Like I am a woman. Like there's no requirements. Like there's no it's arbitrary. Like people like try to come up with all sorts of reasons why they are their gender, and like none of them are true except for the one where someone says I am a woman, or they say I am a man, or like that. Those are the things that people say, and because like everyone self-determines their identity. That's what identity is. It's identity, right? Identity. If you didn't have an identity, you wouldn't be you at all. Like you wouldn't have any thoughts, you wouldn't have any feelings, you wouldn't have any opinions, you wouldn't enjoy anything. You would literally just be a robot with no soul, like nothing. It's identity. And so nothing about you really inherently makes, if nobody was told that there's such a thing as being a man or a woman, they would find out naturally, like some way to describe the difference. There is anatomical difference from birth, but the thing is there's lots of things anatomically besides genitals and besides your, like there's things that are what we consider to be sexual characteristics, like traits of being assigned male or assigned female. The thing is like obviously there is an objective like sexual traits because of like what happens in the womb. But the names we give that are pretty arbitrary. Like if we didn't have this idea of being a man or woman, like imagine I know it's hard to imagine, but what if like there was an alternate universe where like gender wasn't even like a thing, where people were just born and like they just lived and they just found out that like, oh, well, some people can get pregnant if you impregnate them. Or get impregnated, if you become impregnated, like what if like people just happened to go that direction, and like it's like if you start off a certain way and then over time it becomes so established, but like this whole like bimodal or binary system, it's more bimodal, but like even a bimodal system assumes that there's two things, 0 and 1, right? But what about -1? What about a ternary system, right? Ternary computing. And obviously -1 is just a variation of 0 and 1. Let's be real. It's still all 0 and 1 for computing, but that's a different story. But there are ternary systems of computing, and it's coming out more in quantum computing. I believe. I don't know anything about that really. Like we might deep dive into it eventually. Beer now. When is next secret stream? Come on, Cardano. Don't let me, don't. Yeah. Don't make me, don't make me time you out. Or ban you. But that's not what this stream's about. This stream's not about funneling people into other things. It's not about that. This stream is not about any of that. No, I'm seriously. I keep my content focused on whatever content it is. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Okay? You are being discreet. I'm just giving you a tough time, Cardano. But don't even go there. Just like don't even go that direction. It's I just got unbanned from Twitch, okay? Let's not get banned again. My longer content? Come on. Oh, now I have it. Now I'm the one doing it. You see what you did? You see what you did? Is this pre-recorded? No, Yanons. Yanans goat. Yanons. This is not pre-recorded, sorry. I mean not sorry, I mean. Not pre-recorded. Yeah, and you know, I've learned my lesson about bringing up chat. I know that like big content creators will bring up their chat on stream, I think because they can get away with more. That's a whole other topic, but that's just how the world works. If you have more influence, people are gonna like, people are gonna brush more stuff. People are gonna brush off more. And that's just unfortunate. I mean, it sucks that like people who are like smaller content creators or don't have as much of a voice, it sucks that certain people just don't really have a voice and they get punished for they get penalized for things that people who had more clout won't. But that's just how it is. Getting like this is another thing. This is another thing that people do, and I think it's bipartisan. I don't think it has to do with people on the left or right. I think it's bipartisan. People are like, it doesn't discriminate. People on both sides of whatever equation you're talking about do this. Is they go out and they try to cancel quote unquote creators. You know, it doesn't work. And you're only bringing more attention to the things that you're trying to address. Like you're bringing more people against your cause. And I do personally believe that people who go online and have conservative values, quote unquote conservative values, that they're not conservative values, they're hateful values. But they don't believe it. They believe that it's more important for them to be able to say something hurtful than it is to look inside of yourself and ask yourself why you want to say hurtful things.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and a Happy New Year.
What would you guys want? I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to get up the energy. I'm trying to get the energy. We're basically just chilling. I do want to do an IRL stream today. Okay, I'm gonna have to time you out, Cardano. Just please, you get a 1-week ban. Sorry. I made it very clear, and you continue to go there. Like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, okay, Cardano? We're not about that here. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, that, but that's not what I'm about. I'm about this space that I've created on my stream. Here, I need to turn off the music. This space that I've created on my stream is a place for me to express my opinions and bring people together so that we can make meaningful changes within ourselves and therefore the world. That is why I'm here. And any other thing that I do on the internet is, you know, it has its own reasons that I do it. And some of that is monetary, some of that is for personal expression, but I'm not really about that here. I mean, I do talk about it. But, you know, I literally just got unbanned from Twitch, okay? And I don't like going around trying to skirt the rules. You know, like, or skirt around the issues of like trying to like get away with stuff. That's not what I'm about, and I think that's why I got unbanned. And it's not like I'm just trying to behave just so that other people won't ban me. It's because I don't want to do things that will get me banned. Do you understand? Like, it's not about the fact that I don't want to get in trouble. Like, I know there might be people out there, and obviously they have their own reasons, and that's fine. Nothing I say or do is going to do anything about that. Trying to like build up energy. I do want to do an IRL stream, and what I want to do is I want to test this out. So this will be the test. But I need, you know, I don't know. It's I'm kind of like unsure if I want to do it. But I do want to go rollerblading again, but I also want to see if I can do an IRL stream of that. First person. Well, I guess just holding the camera, but the problem with, I mean, I have like a neck thing that I could use because I need to be able to stop myself if I fall, and I'm not really doing anything crazy. I'm just going on, you know, flat trails, you know, like it's, and I'm not really going super fast. I'm just like exercising, but I need to know which, like, if I get like, if my hotspot works out there, if my internet works out there for chat. I need to know that, and I need to know if it works while I'm rollerblading, because I want to do some streams where I'm doing first person rollerblading, and also I want to do angles of me doing certain things down the line. I don't know if I'm ever going to do extreme sports, especially since I'm really going through all this to get facial surgery, and I don't want to fuck that up by landing on my face on concrete. Okay, so I don't want to go to skate parks and do fucking half pipes and shit like that. Okay, like, we're not doing that. I am cutting myself off from, you know, experiences, but I need to like limit. I need to draw a line somewhere. Okay, there's certain things that I don't want to do anything extreme. I don't want to jump out of airplanes. I don't want to do this shit. I've fought so hard to get here. Honestly, there is something to be said about it. Makes those experiences more special if I'm putting my life on the line. But I don't want to. I don't want to lose everything that I've worked for just because I wanted to try. Like, I've already gone through enough experience in life. Like, I've already been through enough experience. I don't think I need to go chasing more. I don't need to chase thrill-seeking behavior. I think it's thrill enough just being alive and being around people that I care about and trying to have a meaningful voice that I can change the world. But it starts with yourself. It starts with yourself. Yeah, if you noticed, I don't do booba content here on Twitch and stuff. Like, my stream is not about that. And not that there's anything wrong with people who do hot tub streams. They're doing their own comfort level with their own brands and their own business strategy. And it's perfectly fine. But I have different sort of content that I want to do on stream. I have different values. Or like I have very different values than some people, and that's how it should be. Everybody has their own values, and some people choose to use those to have values that harm people. Some people have values that are to help people, or some people just have values that they just kind of want to fly under the radar. They don't really have any like battle that they're trying to fight. And that's fine too. And also, shouldn't the goal be to not have a battle? I know that there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people who would lose their jobs if world peace was a thing. But shouldn't we want world peace? It seems like a lot of the discourse online, it just seems like a lot of people clout chasing. And that's disgusting to me. That people would use like real life events as some sort of clout chase. And I understand that if you do clout chase and you can use your platform to donate to causes and fight for and advocate and educate and all that kind of stuff, that's different. And so I kind of see the big picture, but I don't think every content creator is like that. I think some people are just jumping on the bandwagon because they want to jump in and they see a trending hashtag on Twitter, and so they like kind of want to like set people off, like whatever they do to try to get clout. Like, some people do it, some people like try to like say really controversial things just because they want people to reply to it. And obviously, yeah, it's kind of a sad state of affairs that instead of fighting for change for the sake of improving the world, some people just want to jump on the bandwagon and get some clout out of it. And it's one thing, like I said, it's one thing if you want to get clout because you have a cause that you're overall fighting for. Like, I'm fighting for trans acceptance and trans rights, but in my own little way, which is taking care of myself. Because if I'm miserable, if I'm living a terrible life, if I hate myself, they win. If I'm angry all the time and constantly feeling like I need to go out and protest and fight, like obviously some people sacrifice in order to do that, and that's their prerogative. I don't want to go out and risk my life. I fought so hard to get here. I don't want to go out and risk my life by protesting. I don't, I shouldn't be pressured to that. I shouldn't be judged just because I don't do something that is above and beyond. I should not be. I should not be judged for what amazing people do. And then not doing that is somehow and by somebody going above and beyond somehow being the standard. Holding people to such a high standard that you actually actively harass people who just go about their lives. Like, oh, you should be more angry about this. You should be angry about Harry Potter. You should be angry about Hogwarts Legacy. And it's like, yeah, and like even people who aren't angry about J.K. Rowling, like unfortunately, a lot of people just don't really understand the whole issue. If they did, I think they would be more upset. But some people like literally just don't give a fuck. And also some people are literally her allies, which is dangerous. There's a lot of people out there they want to build platforms based around hatred. And even like, I don't know, I feel like she just sees it more as like, it's the problem with a lot of conservatives as well. Like with a lot of conservatives online, they're just mad that they can't say something on Twitter. And instead of focusing on why people are mad, they get mad about the fact that they're getting canceled. And they don't do the introspection to think like why people are angry. It doesn't make the people who are trying to cancel them right either. Okay, I'm trying not to be like centrist or whatever. I don't like to be like neutral because there is no neutrality. And I know that I hate to burst a lot of people's bubbles, but there is no such thing as neutrality. There's no such thing as not being political, quote unquote. Okay, it's like everything you do has values that are associated with either certain things or another certain thing. Okay, so don't delude yourself into thinking that just because like you try to be in the center that you're somehow like not involved, because you are involved, especially if you're a content creator. And I'm not trying to call anyone out, but I know that like some people, I don't know, like I mean I really enjoy like Devin Nash and what I like listening to his values and also the knowledge that he likes to spread and all that, and educating people. I do believe in his mission, so I support him on Patreon and I do enjoy his videos. But I honestly disagree with him on some points, and some of those points are that he claims that he's not political and he doesn't like to make his content around politics. But if you have any opinion at all that you share on a platform, even if it's a small platform, you've already become involved. Like you've made yourself involved, and I think it starts with admitting truths and not running away from them or making excuses. And I feel like if you go around saying, oh, I don't want to bring up political, but, and it's like, well, don't delude yourself into thinking that you're not involved when you are. And I think there's some other things, like I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to like pile on him, because he's like, he does a lot more good. He does a lot of good. And I think every now and then people are going to kind of inject their opinions and their values. I mean, you can't be a content creator without doing that. And with no matter what you do, even if it's like more neutral or not really like focused on certain things, like, obviously I don't expect Devin Nash to go out and champion trans rights. Like he's like a marketing specialist of new media and runs an ad agency. Like that has nothing to do with what he's like his core values are. And I'm sure that he supports trans rights. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's secretly transphobic. I'm not going to assume these things. Okay. In fact, I mean, and to be fair to him, I don't think that at all, but to be fair to him, I'm just kind of memeing. To be fair to him, like I just kind of assume that most people might be transphobic, because most people have like a little including like, myself, because I didn't even know I was trans, and I was like transphobic before I knew. Hint, hint, maybe all those transphobic people out there have their own gender identity issues. Maybe. Like, Yeah, just yeah, it's something to think about. It's something to think about. Put things in perspective. That maybe all the people out there that are so angry and disgusted by trans people maybe have some kind of ideas about their own gender identity that they've been struggling with and don't understand. And maybe they should look inside and maybe they might be trans themselves. So that's why I have some more compassion for people, because some people who are transphobic might be one of us. Do you understand? They are us, because there is no us versus them. There is only us. Okay? Anybody on this planet might be one of us. So to go out there and say that they're just terrible people, yeah, their actions are terrible sometimes, but they're not terrible people. They're just misguided. And honestly, like, they might be trans themselves. And that's the way that it manifested, is by, and I know a lot of trans people, and I have this experience as well, is that you find all these ways of dealing with these feelings that are very unhealthy, because the world insists that you're not trans. And and a lot of the times, like, I know this for myself, I speak for myself, is that a lot of the times, like, a lot of our behavior is to try to avoid transitioning, despite what people believe, or despite what people insist on the reality being. The reality is that trans people literally do everything possible to, quote unquote, not be trans. Do you understand? Like, a lot of trans people out there are just trying to fit in the world. And being trans is like a death sentence for your social life. Okay? Do you understand? Like, it's a death sentence. Now, I'm submitting an appeal to that death sentence by putting myself out there and trying to fight for my ability to fit in the world, and for all trans people to be accepted. But here's the reality, at least in today's world, and it's becoming more and more acceptable, because it should be. We're people, we exist. Like, it's a huge, and like, there was an article, I didn't read the whole thing, but there was an article that was written by somebody where basically we should be very concerned about what's happening to trans people, because it's like an entire demographic is being shoved aside as not human when we are human. It's a natural part of human experience. It's nothing weird or like, it's boring. It's boring. Being trans is probably the most boring thing about me. Like it's not even a cause of stress in my life outside of, I mean, obviously me being trans is like not the thing that's hurt me the most. In fact, it's been the most beautiful thing that's happened in my life. And I feel like, I get a chance to live, first of all, but also I think, I actually get to feel like beautiful as a person, as a soul. Like, I get to feel like I can exist. But it's the most boring thing about me. Like, in fact, like, as far as like being outcast from society, like, it's not even like the number one thing there. Like, autism is the thing that did that. Because I don't know. I'm trying to fight for my ability to fit in. Yeah. So when you go on Twitter, you're going into a creep colony. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like, people have different ways of expressing their identity, and this isn't even about trans people. This isn't even about cisgender people. Like, literally, Like, it's just, there's no difference. Like, it's just people are people, and some people, unfortunately for us, like, there's an extreme pain we have to live with based on sexual characteristics of our body. And some people don't feel that. A lot of people don't feel that. But they do in other ways. It's just not enough for them um to feel like they need to do something about it. Some people like body dysmorphia, and other people you might want to ask people who have actual experience with this. But for some people, for some people, they have eating disorders. And my heart goes out to Alinity. She's talked about this before, and I obviously never bring it up, but she brought it up with Emiru. Emiru. And Emiru, I just like watching somebody master a game. And she's good at Dark Souls. It's a wholesome gold. Hey, Asmongold's actually pretty wholesome if you really like listen to his content. He has some strong opinions, but so do most people. And I feel like he has grown a lot from the past, but I also think that like he has every right to have his platform, and he's not trying to advocate for anything like illegal. He's like, even as a neckbeard, he's one of the good ones. Okay, like, and that's my stamp of approval for Asmongold. I used to get really angry about things he said, but then you really listen to his core values and like how he conducts himself. I think he's actually pretty wholesome, and I feel like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know him in person, but I do feel like I feel like he puts a lot of himself on his platform compared to some people who kind of do a more performative thing. And so I feel like, if listening, I mean, that is his life. He's literally a streamer and a gamer who's like exists on the internet. So if you listen to his content, that is him. I think it's more hit, and I think he knows this, and he's talked about this. But yeah, I got distracted. Listening to Alinity talk about it, like my heart really like kind of felt like clenched, because I've heard her talk about this before, and then hearing her talk about it again with Emiru, like, and I know some people don't really like Alinity for people's past behavior. Like, isn't the whole point of life, and especially like faith, different spiritualities and religions, isn't the whole point of forgiveness to actually allow people to change? Just a thought. Isn't that the whole point of forgiveness? But if people don't change, that's different. Like, if people just continually like harm people, that's different. But it is a big deal. Is like stuff like eating disorders, or bulimia, or refusing to eat, like anorexia, and believing that you're fat, and that you need to be skinny to the point of destroying your body. That's a disorder. And in a lot of ways, people compare that to being trans, and they say, oh, well, if we don't treat bulimia or anorexia that way, we don't just do hashtag support anorexics. Like, no, it's a different thing. Like, anorexia is a problem, and when you support anorexics, you're not saying that they should be anorexic. It's because you're trying to support them by helping them, because it's a call for help. Just like being trans, like being overly masculine to try to overcompensate for trying to avoid your own identity. It's a real thing. Like, I don't know, I can't speak for every trans person, but I mean, it's pretty common, I think, that most trans people want to avoid transitioning, because it's really fucking hard, and it's painful, and it's social suicide. Like, it destroys your social life. I mean, it doesn't have to, but you can find people who actually matter. but it puts you, it outcasts you from society in a lot of ways. Even though people don't want to admit it, it does. And so the choice is not a choice. But it is technically a choice. Like, you can try to avoid it, but you're going to damage yourself in the process and damage others, because your behavior carries over to other people. And so if you act toxic because you're trying to avoid your identity and avoid doing medical necessary procedures, it's gonna affect everyone around you, including yourself, especially yourself. And so, contrary to what people believe, there's not some giant movement to just be trans just to be trans. Like, we're trans because we have to be, because we are. And for those of us who are strong enough to actually pursue our medical needs, it's not even close to being like, it's not even close to being a fix. Okay, but it's better than, it's better than the alternative. At least I get to live. All right. Let's I think I'm gonna get ready for the IRL portion of the stream. But I need to know if a moderator is going to be here, because I'm not always able to look at chat. I try to moderate, but not always possible. Do an IRL stream for like 30 minutes, testing out rollerblading, or I don't know, maybe I'll just end the stream and we can do an IRL later. And I'm just going to go exercise and then come back, and then we'll do a walking IRL where I can pay more attention to chat, because I don't want to risk my safety. Of like going out there. I'm already focusing so much on not falling, to also be focusing on streaming while I'm doing that. I'm not ready for that yet. I don't want to risk it. All right, chat. It's good to be back. But for now, bye for now. We're gonna do an IRL stream later today. I need to take care of myself for a couple hours and kind of like focus and take care of my health. And I'm probably gonna play some video games before I go out in IRL. And we're gonna play some Final Fantasy 11 when I get back, and then we're gonna go IRL. Because I got back into Final Fantasy 11 retail, and I don't know. It's time to make some more video game content a little bit, just to hang out with you guys since we're back. But I don't like playing video games when I haven't taken care of like my exercise or anything yet, and especially since I want to exercise. And then we're gonna play some video games to like kind of rest, and then we're gonna go out in IRL. All right, bye chat. Thank you for stopping by. I'll be back.